is a Gundam? So, it's the year 2000, and my 15-year-old self was turning into a huge, anime-loving nerd. I had grown up on Transformers, TMNT, and Power Rangers, and had only recently discovered this wonderful form of media called anime. Cartoon Network was airing this little show called Gundam Wing, and my mind was blown.
What the heck? That's a mobile suit! It's a Gundam! Surround and destroy it! Destroyed 5 areas like there were nothing! Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The Gundam down there! Just get me, you monster! Cloud of space! Every one of us!
Mission accepted.
Giant robots, a more violent, more adult cartoon, anime I could watch. I was sold. Every afternoon I found myself glued to this show. I had toys, I had models, I even broke out blank VHS tapes so I could record the series and watch it over and over. But that's not why we're here. 2001 comes, and with it, this Rankin and Bass looking, clearly aged show declaring itself to be the original Mobile Suit Gundam. In my eyes, Gundam can do no wrong, so I gave it a watch. Or, I tried. Mobile Suit Gundam was different than Wing, which for us American kids was our first exposure to the franchise. In Wing, we had 6, count 'em, 6 Gundams at any given time, with mid-season revisions and another unique mobile suit, and my personal favorite, by the way, the Tallgeese, which despite it not being a Gundam itself was treated like one, even getting a couple of revisions along the way itself. And holy crap, let's not forget about that movie. Endless Waltz gave us Angel Wings. OG Gundam only has one Gundam. Throughout the entire series. Even its upgrades didn't distinguish it enough to justify another version. We follow RX-78-2 from beginning to end. One arm, headless, end. At this point, it's probably important to distinguish what a Gundam is versus all the other robots in the series. I've lived my entire adult life having people ask me, which Gundam is this? To which I had to reply, it's not a Gundam. It's a Zaku. What's the difference? In the worlds that exist within the mini Gundam universes, and yes, there's more than one, but we'll get to that later, all these giant robots are mobile suits. Think of it like our tanks and jets, but instead of tanks and jets, these people fight their wars with giant humanoid robots. The general mass-produced suits are just units. There are individual models, upgrades, special versions, such as the Tallgeese that I mentioned earlier. But these are not Gundams. A Gundam is a special mobile suit with special characteristics. It's unique, at least according to the particular models, and is usually made with a special material such as Gundam Wing's Gundanium alloy. They were faster, they were higher quality, and even the sight of these special suits could strike fear into the hearts of those who faced them. Either that or idiotic hubris that led to an embarrassing death. Okay, so back to the point, Mobile Suit Gundam was created and directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino and produced and animated by Sunrise way back in 1979. It was to be a more realistic take on the giant robot genre, which was heavily populated by what's known as super robots. You know, giant, even more giant robots with magical plot power that would show up to save the day, and everybody loved them. Back when Mobile Suit Gundam first aired, it didn't do so well. In fact, it was cancelled. Though the series was saved, how, you may ask? Gundam saw a boost in popularity thanks to reruns, a theatrical re-edit of the series, and, toys. Lots and lots of toys. A lot of toys. Though this is the series that started a huge media toy franchise, it's still pretty hard to watch at times, especially the Toonami edit. Though I have to give it to Toonami, where intros are concerned, it's way better. I love you, Japanese intro, but you silly. But what makes this series special? It's real. You heard me. Yes, it's a bit of a fantastical idea to believe that the future of warfare will be waged by 60-foot-tall, lightsaber-wielding, brightly colored samurai robots. But despite the obvious sci-fi elements, this story is very real. It's about a boy, his annoying friend, his annoying yet cute mascot, and his big robot. Amuro isn't the chosen one. He isn't all-powerful. He doesn't just bond with the Gundam and become an instant expert. The first thing he does is read the instructions. This boy pulls out the manual. His friends are getting killed outside, and he's flipping through the manual. The story is not episodic or monster of the week. It follows a singular, very personal story throughout. We spend the majority of our time following the journey of Amuro, his friends, and the military ship that lays claim to the Gundam. A journey of people running from the bad guys, who are always on their heels. And you feel that. You feel for them. Amuro gets tired. Amuro has doubts, and you feel it. This series has cheesy moments, and is definitely a product of its time, but you feel for Amuro. Gundams aren't untouchable either. Parts break. There are many times that you see RX-78 get damaged and repaired. It doesn't fly back into the sky and come back pristine in the next episode. This makes the series gripping, but a little too real at times. I think this is what hurt the series in its initial run, and its subsequent Western run. This was marketed to kids, both Eastern and Western, but not written for them. At least not young kids anyway. Even though we're watching giant robots fight in space, this series is incredibly grounded. From the first episode, we see an imperfect machine and a human pilot. We also see death. There's a good bit of death in this. It is about a war, after all. The 1-year war, to be precise. And the Gundam is the Earth Federation's secret weapon. Some Zeon pilots... Zeon, by the way, is our bad guys of the series. It's pretty cut and dry, but there are times when you don't really know who you should be rooting for. But for now, Zeon are the ones who called us dorks.
They look like dorks! Oh, I'm gonna... Oh, boy!
Anyway, some Zeon pilots discover the Federation moving the Gundam on a truck on a space colony called Side 7. This also happens to be the home of our hero, Amuro Ray, who's too busy to know that he's being evacuated. Frau Bo, Amuro's super annoying friend, attempts to pull Amuro away from this, whatever he's doing, so that he doesn't get blown up or whatever. Eventually, Amuro pulls up in a space car and drives off with Frau Bo. While this is happening, the Federation's fancy new warship, White Base, is docking to carry away the refugees. Also, our series' bad guy, you'll know this guy's important because of the mask, a series staple that will appear throughout the various Gundam incarnations, is putting the bad guy in a goofy white mask. Just for future reference. Char Aznable? Aznable as, we'll call him Charred Knobs from here on out. Anyway, Charred Knobs, the resident "look at me, I'm the meanie weenie," is also watching all this go down from the comforts of his Star Destroyer. Back on the colony, the Zeon pilots get bored and decide to attack the Federation transport. Amuro and Furrowed Brow feel the explosions from inside a shelter. Amuro gets a wild hair to go look for his dad amongst all the chaos. He sees some Fed soldiers trying to get into an underground bunker, but gets stopped by... Oops. That's when Amuro finds his Smash Brothers instruction booklet. Things are getting hairy, and Frowning Bowl screeches for Amuro to get to safety. Then another oops. Amuro does his best to calm Foul Ball enough to get her onto the spaceport, and then it happens. Amuro hides away in the Gundam's cockpit for a quiet reading session. I guess the Zaku's outside were making too much noise, because finally Amuro pilots RX-78 and kills a Zaku with his pink lightsaber. Charred Knobs is taken aback by all the commotion and declares that he underestimated the Federation's secret weapon. and then fires oopsies at them. And that's just episode 1! This series is chock full of intense battles, emotional moments, treachery, switching sides, and even some, yeah, those. Even though this series isn't the most popular among the franchise, it is what started it all. The iconic suit has inspired so many redesigns and variations. Almost every Gundam series has followed the design formula of RX-78 to at least some degree. The vast majority of all League Gundams are primarily white, blue, red, and yellow that carry a shield, a blaster, and some swords, be it beam or otherwise. Even if you've never heard of Gundam until now, you can't deny the influence the franchise has had on so many other things. If you love anime, giant robots, model kits, a good war story, or all of the above, you should definitely give Mobile Suit Gundam a watch. Thank you for watching. I have been a potato, and hopefully I've explained Gundam well enough to pique your interest. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, because there will be more like this in the future. Until next time, this Spud's for you.